There is a sacred truth that has echoed through generations: when a soul is chosen, is untouchable. Darkness may hover, shadows may whisper, and trials may rage, but they cannot lay hold of a heart stamped with divine purpose. A chosen soul walks not by fear, but by faith. It carries an unseen armor, one not made of steel, but of spirit. Demons may press against the gates, but the chosen knows the gates will not break. For divine covering is stronger than any storm, louder than any threat, and deeper than any fear. No matter how fierce the battle becomes, the chosen rise. They rise not because the fight is easy, but because their strength comes from within. There is a power flowing through them that demons cannot touch. They may feel the sting of struggle, but they will never bow to defeat. The fire of trial does not consume them. It refines them. Every battle sharpens their vision, every tear waters their destiny, and every setback prepares the stage for their rising. The chosen soul learns that even when darkness surrounds, light cannot be hidden. And when light appears, shadows scatter. Demons tremble at the sound of a chosen one's footsteps. They plot, they scheme, but they cannot take what is sealed. Purpose cannot be stolen. Destiny cannot be rewritten. A chosen soul is marked by heaven, and no power of darkness can erase that mark. So when life presses against you, remember this truth: demons cannot touch a chosen soul. You may feel surrounded, but you are never forsaken. Victory is not something you wait for. It is already written in your story. You are chosen, and chosen means protected, purposed, and unstoppable. Walk with your head high, shoulders back, and spirit unshaken. For no demon, no darkness, and no doubt can ever touch what has been set apart. You are chosen, and chosen means forever untouchable. Under the canopy of the heavens, there exists a shield that cannot be seen with human eyes, yet it is more real than the ground beneath your feet. This shield is not made of metal or stone. It is not crafted by human hands, and it does not fade with time. It is eternal. It is steadfast. It is the assurance that a chosen soul is never left naked against the storms of life. There is a divine protection that surrounds those who are marked with purpose, and no matter how hard darkness tries, it cannot penetrate that covering. When a soul has been set apart, it does not walk alone. Though the world may appear hostile, though voices may rise in opposition, and though shadows may move in silence, there is a guard that walks beside, before, and behind. You may not see it, but you can feel it when you step into rooms where hostility tries to choke your spirit, yet you stand unharmed. You can sense it when others plot against you, but their schemes crumble before they can take root. That is divine protection at work, an invisible hand that redirects harm, a voice that silences storms, a presence that declares, "This one is mine." There will be moments when life feels like a battlefield. The arrows will come, they always do: jealousy, envy, betrayal, disappointment. All of these forces are real, but they are powerless against a soul chosen by destiny. What was meant to break you cannot hold you. What was designed to destroy you becomes the very thing that strengthens you. That is the mystery of divine protection. The danger may come close, but it will not consume. The fire may burn around you, but it cannot scorch what is covered by grace. Think of the times you thought it was over, when you believed the weight was too heavy, and yet you rose again. That rising was not by your own strength alone. It was the unseen shield that bore you up when your knees were weak. It was the protection that whispered, "Not yet, not here, not this one." You were preserved because your purpose is not complete. You were covered because your story is still unfolding. That is divine protection, keeping you when you could not keep yourself. The beauty of this covering is that it does not prevent storms, but it ensures the storm cannot take you out. You will still face trials, but you will not drown in them. You will still walk through fire, but you will come out refined, not destroyed. This protection does not promise the absence of struggle. It promises the presence of victory. And that victory is not given because of luck, nor because of privilege, but because of divine choosing. Enemies may gather, but they cannot prevail. Words may rise against you, but they fall powerless to the ground. Doors may close in your face, but what is meant for you will open, regardless of human resistance. That is the assurance of divine protection. It is a reminder that no hand can snatch away what has been placed in your destiny. No demon can trespass where the divine has built a wall. No darkness can touch a soul illuminated by heaven's flame. You may find yourself wondering why others around you fall under the weight of circumstances, while you stand in places where you should have collapsed. It is not arrogance, nor is it coincidence. It is covering, it is protection, it is purpose shielding you, because there is more required of you. There is more written for you. And as long as your assignment breathes, your breath will not be taken. The chosen are often misunderstood because they carry a protection that others cannot explain. People may look at your survival and call it luck, but you know it is not luck. It is providence. They may say you were spared by chance, but you know chance had nothing to do with it. Every escape, every deliverance, every narrow path that you crossed safely was written long before you faced it. You were not spared by accident. You were preserved by intention. This protection does not mean you will never feel fear, but it means fear will never own you. It does not mean you will never cry, but it means your tears will never drown you. It does not mean you will never fall, but it guarantees that every fall will end with you standing taller than before. The divine covering ensures that even your broken pieces will be gathered and turned into strength. And so walk boldly, not because the path is easy, but because you know you are guarded. Move with confidence, not because enemies are absent, but because you know they cannot touch the essence of who you are. Rest in peace, not because storms will never come, but because storms cannot destroy a house that has been built on unshakable ground. Divine protection is not a shield you earn. It is a gift bestowed upon the chosen. It is the quiet assurance that you are never alone. It is the unseen force that pushes back the hands of destruction. It is the eternal declaration that your life is not left to chance, that your purpose is not vulnerable to darkness, and that your soul is secured in a way no enemy can undo. So when you rise each morning, do not rise in fear of what may come. Rise knowing that you are covered. Rise knowing that you are guarded. Rise knowing that nothing, no scheme, no whisper, no shadow can undo what has already been protected. The chosen walk under a canopy of divine protection, and that truth will carry you through every valley, every trial, and every storm. There is a power that does not come from titles, wealth, or recognition. It does not depend on applause or the approval of others. This power is quiet yet unshakable, invisible yet undeniable. It is the strength that lives within, the unyielding force planted in the heart of a chosen soul. This strength is not something that the world gives, so the world cannot take it away. It is a reservoir that does not run dry even when life empties every other cup. Inner strength is the silent anchor that keeps the chosen standing when everything else says they should have fallen. A chosen soul does not escape hardship. In fact, their path is often harder, their nights longer, their valleys deeper. But what sets them apart is not the absence of struggle. It is the presence of resilience. They may be pressed down by burdens, but they are never crushed. They may bend under the weight of adversity, but they do not break. This is because within them lies a strength greater than any storm, a strength that cannot be measured by muscle or might, but by endurance and unshakable faith. There are moments in life when everything around you tells you to quit. The door's close, the people you trusted walk away. The dream feels too far, and the weight seems too heavy. Yet something inside refuses to surrender. That something is your inner strength. It whispers to you in the midnight hour, when no one else sees your tears. It pushes you forward when your feet feel like stone. It reminds you that you are not defined by the battle you face, but by the fire that burns within you. Many will look at a chosen one and wonder how they endure what would have broken others. They see the smile after heartbreak, the persistence after rejection, the calm in the middle of chaos, and they do not understand. But the chosen soul understands that their strength does not come from what is outside of them, but from what is inside. The storms may rage, but they do not reach the core. The waves may rise, but they cannot sink a spirit anchored by inner strength. Inner strength is born in silence, in places where no one applauds. It is cultivated in the hidden rooms of suffering, in the nights where prayers feel unanswered, in the hours when hope seems faint. It grows when you choose to rise even after falling, when you keep walking even when the road feels endless, when you refuse to surrender even when defeat seems near. This strength is not gifted by comfort. It is forged in fire, and once forged, it cannot be stolen. The chosen carry an inner strength that allows them to see beyond the present pain. They know that wounds can heal, that seasons can change, that storms eventually pass. This vision fuels them when everything else looks dark. It whispers, "Hold on, because the light is coming." It gives them patience to endure, courage to continue, and power to rise again and again. There will always be forces that try to silence this strength. Doubt will creep in. Fear will whisper. Voices of discouragement will try to drown it out. But inner strength is louder than all of them. It may not shout, but it speaks with authority. It says, "You are greater than this moment. You are more than this struggle. You are stronger than what tries to defeat you." And when a chosen soul listens to that voice, they become unstoppable. What makes inner strength so powerful is that it cannot be faked and it cannot be borrowed. It must be lived, tested, and proven. No one can give it to you, and no one can take it away. It is yours alone, planted deep within you for the journey you were destined to walk. That is why chosen souls can stand even when abandoned, why they can keep believing even when denied, why they can keep building even after loss. Their strength does not depend on who stands beside them, but on who stands within them. This strength is not arrogance, nor is it pride. It is the calm knowing that you are equipped for every challenge. It is the steady confidence that you can walk through fire and come out refined, not consumed. It is the quiet courage that whispers, "I will not give up," even when giving up looks easier. This strength does not make the journey painless, but it makes it possible. It does not remove the weight, but it gives you the ability to carry it until you reach your destination. A chosen soul may not always feel strong, but strength is not the absence of weakness. It is the refusal to let weakness have the final word. Inner strength does not mean you never cry. It means you rise after the tears. It does not mean you never stumble. It means you keep moving after the fall. It does not mean you never feel fear. It means fear does not decide your fate. Inner strength is the quiet flame that keeps burning no matter how hard the winds try to snuff it out. So stand tall, even when the weight bends your shoulders. Walk forward, even when the road is rough. Trust the voice within, even when the world around you shouts in doubt. The strength you need is not something you must search for. It is already within you. And when you live from that place, you become unshakable. You become untouchable. You become a chosen soul whose light cannot be dimmed, whose spirit cannot be broken, and whose destiny cannot be denied. Life has a way of testing the spirit. It bends, it stretches, it shakes, and it presses. And often those who are chosen are tested the most. Their paths are not the smooth ones, but the steep ones. Their nights are not always quiet, but filled with storms. Their roads are not lined with ease, but paved with challenges that would break ordinary souls. Yet through it all, the chosen rise. Not because the fire is absent, but because resilience is present. Resilience is the heartbeat of survival, the quiet determination that says, "I will not be undone by what was meant to destroy me." The trials are not a sign of weakness or punishment. They are evidence of strength. They are the furnace where resilience is born. When a chosen soul encounters hardship, they are not handed a pass to avoid it. Instead, they are given the power to endure it. The winds blow hard, but they do not uproot the tree whose roots run deep. In the same way, trials can shake the chosen, but they cannot uproot them. Every storm that rises is an opportunity for their resilience to grow stronger, deeper, and more unbreakable. There is something extraordinary about the way resilience works. It does not prevent pain, but it transforms it. It takes disappointment and turns it into determination. It takes betrayal and turns it into wisdom. It takes loss and turns it into perspective. Resilience allows the chosen to walk through fire without becoming ashes. It allows them to fall into valleys and still climb back to the mountaintop. It allows them to suffer wounds yet heal with even greater strength than before. A resilient soul does not deny the trial. They do not pretend the pain isn't real, nor do they ignore the weight of hardship. They acknowledge it, they feel it, they weep if they must. But they do not remain there. They refuse to let the trial define them. Instead, they let it refine them. Every tear becomes water for growth. Every scar becomes a story of survival. Every failure becomes a lesson that equips them for the journey ahead. Many will look at the chosen and wonder how they continue after so much loss, how they still smile after so much pain, how they keep moving after so many setbacks. The answer is resilience. It is not that they have not suffered. It is that suffering did not stop them. Resilience does not erase hardship. It transforms it into fuel. The harder the blow, the stronger they rise. The deeper the cut, the more powerful the healing. The greater the setback, the more unstoppable the comeback. Resilience through trials is not built in a single day. It is a lifelong work, forged moment by moment in the fires of adversity. It grows when you decide to rise again after a fall. It deepens when you refuse to let betrayal close your heart. It strengthens when you choose hope in the face of despair. With every choice to endure, resilience becomes part of your very being. And once it becomes part of you, no storm can take it away. The chosen soul understands that trials are not barriers. They are teachers. They come to reveal hidden strength, to uncover deeper courage, and to remind you that your spirit is greater than your circumstances. Without trials, you would not know the depth of your resilience. Without pain, you would not know the power of your healing. Without loss, you would not know the worth of what truly matters. Every trial shapes, sharpens, and prepares the chosen for the greatness that lies ahead. Resilience also carries a quiet kind of beauty. It does not shout, it does not boast. It is often invisible to the outside world. People may see only the smile, never knowing the nights spent in tears. They may see only the strength, never knowing the weakness it took to build it. They may see the success, never knowing the countless failures that gave birth to it. But the chosen know. They know that behind every victory stands 1,000 battles. They know that every step forward was earned through resilience. The truth is, trials will come again and again. No life is free from them, and no chosen soul is spared from them. But the difference is this: the chosen do not crumble under the weight. They bend, but they do not break. They stagger, but they do not fall. They may lose for a season, but they always return stronger. Resilience makes the trial temporary and the victory permanent. In time, resilience becomes not just a response, but a way of life. It becomes the lens through which the chosen view every challenge. Instead of asking, "Why me?" they declare, "Try me." Instead of shrinking back, they rise up. Instead of surrendering, they keep pressing forward. And in this pressing, in this rising, in this relentless determination, they reveal the truth that no trial can defeat a chosen soul. So when the storms rage against you, remember that resilience is your anchor. When the weight feels unbearable, remember that resilience is your strength. When the road feels endless, remember that resilience is your endurance. The trial is not the end of you. It is the shaping of you. It is the preparation for everything you were destined to become. Rise not because the pain is gone, but because the purpose is greater. Stand, not because the trial is easy, but because your resilience is stronger. Continue not because the path is smooth, but because your spirit is unbreakable. For a chosen soul is not defined by the trial. It is defined by the resilience that carries it through. Darkness has always tried to convince the soul that it holds the final word. It surrounds, it presses, it whispers that the night will never end. Yet history, nature, and spirit declare a greater truth. Light does not need permission to shine. And when it does, darkness cannot remain. A chosen soul carries within them a light that no shadow can extinguish. It may be challenged, it may be tested, but it cannot be overcome. For one flame has the power to pierce an entire room of night, and one soul awakened in purpose has the power to shift the atmosphere around them. There will be moments when darkness seems overwhelming. Fear will attempt to cloud vision. Doubt will creep in like a fog. Hatred, envy, and despair will gather like storm clouds. Yet even in the thickest night, light is never absent. It may seem hidden, but it still exists. And the moment it is allowed to shine, the night begins to retreat. The power of darkness lies only in its illusion of permanence, but the power of light is eternal. A single spark can defeat endless shadows. That is the truth a chosen soul carries. They are not defined by the darkness around them, but by the light within them. Light is not always loud. Sometimes it comes in the form of kindness when cruelty is expected. Sometimes it comes as hope when all reason says there is none. Sometimes it is the courage to stand tall when everything around you is falling. And sometimes it is simply the refusal to give in to despair. Each act of light pushes back against the grip of darkness. It does not need to argue with it. It simply shines. And when it shines, darkness flees. The chosen are often placed in situations heavy with shadows. They find themselves in rooms filled with negativity, in environments clouded by envy, in circumstances poisoned by pain. Yet they are not there by accident. They are placed there as bearers of light. Their very presence disrupts what is dark. Their words, their actions, their resilience, these are beams that pierce the gloom. And even if others do not acknowledge it, the atmosphere shifts because light always transforms the space it touches. But carrying light is not always easy. Darkness fights back. It tries to dim your flame by surrounding you with discouragement. It tries to silence your shine by making you feel unseen. It tries to wear you down so you will choose to hide instead of shine. Yet the chosen soul must remember, the light within them is not fragile. It is not like a candle that can be blown out with one breath. It is a fire lit by divine hands, and no force of darkness can put it out. Light also has a unique quality. It multiplies. When one chosen soul dares to shine, others around them are encouraged to shine as well. What began as a single flame becomes a wildfire of illumination. And the more light spreads, the weaker darkness becomes. This is why the chosen cannot afford to hide their glow. Their light is not only for them, it is for every soul struggling to find hope in the shadows. By shining, they give others permission to rise. By standing, they give others courage to walk. By enduring, they remind others that darkness is not forever. There is something unshakable about the relationship between light and darkness. Darkness cannot bargain with light. It cannot resist it. It cannot remain in its presence. No matter how long the night has lasted, the moment dawn appears, the night must end. And so it is with the chosen soul. No matter how much darkness surrounds them, the moment they allow their inner flame to shine, everything begins to shift. Shadows lose their hold, fear loses its grip, and despair loses its power. Light does not require perfection. It does not demand that you never stumble or that you never struggle. In fact, some of the brightest light shines through the cracks of a broken vessel. Your scars, your lessons, your survival, all of these allow your light to shine even more fiercely. Darkness wants you to believe that your brokenness disqualifies you, but in truth, it often magnifies your glow. People see your resilience, your courage, your survival, and they are reminded that light is real. To walk as a chosen soul is to walk with the responsibility of shining, even when the night is long. It is to remember that your light is needed, not only for you, but for those who cannot yet see their own. It is to understand that every act of kindness, every word of truth, every refusal to bow to fear is a strike against darkness. You may not see the full impact, but the world feels it. Every time you shine, the shadows grow weaker. There will always be battles with darkness. There will always be moments when shadows try to convince you they have won. But the truth is unshakable. Darkness cannot touch the essence of who you are. It cannot steal your purpose. It cannot silence your glow. And it cannot extinguish the fire within you. For as long as you carry light, you carry victory. So let your light shine boldly. Do not hide it for fear of judgment. Do not dim it to make others comfortable. Do not silence it when darkness surrounds. For your light is not only for your survival, it is for the liberation of others. It is proof that no matter how deep the night, dawn will always come. And when the chosen soul shines, they remind the world of this eternal truth: light overpowers darkness always. Purpose is one of the most unshakable forces in existence. It is not a fragile thing that can be misplaced, nor is it a possession that someone else can steal. Purpose is planted deep within the soul before the first breath is drawn, written into the very fabric of who you are. It is older than fear, stronger than opposition, and more enduring than any trial. For the chosen soul, purpose is not an option. It is destiny, and no demon, no shadow, no hand raised against you has the power to take away what has already been ordained. Life will bring moments when it feels as though your purpose is slipping away. Doors may close in your face, opportunities may be denied, and people may actively try to block your progress. They may speak against you, doubt your vision, or try to diminish your gifts. Yet no matter how many obstacles they stack in front of you, they cannot touch what has been placed inside of you. Purpose does not live in the hands of men. It lives in the hands of the Creator. And what is held by divine hands cannot be stolen by human ones. There are times when setbacks will make you question whether you have lost your way. You will face failure, disappointment, and delay. But even in those moments, your purpose remains intact. Delay is not denial. Detours are not destruction. Failure is not final. All of these experiences are woven into the path of purpose, shaping and preparing you for the fullness of what is to come. What feels like a step backward is often the foundation, being laid for a greater step forward. Your purpose is not lost in the trial, it is strengthened by it. Enemies may rise against you, but they cannot rewrite your destiny. They may plot against you, but their schemes cannot prevail. They may try to silence your voice, but the message within you will find a way to be heard. Even if you are pushed out of one place, another will open. Even if one opportunity is stripped from you, another greater one will align. Purpose has a way of moving around obstacles, of creating new doors when old ones are shut, of carving out paths in places where none existed. The chosen soul does not need to fear opposition, because purpose cannot be stolen. What makes purpose so powerful is that it is not dependent on recognition. You can be unseen by the world and still be walking in it. You can be underestimated by people and still be living it. You can be rejected by others and still be fulfilling it. Purpose is not validated by applause nor erased by criticism. It is an eternal truth, and no shifting opinion can undo it. Those who misunderstand you cannot change what was written for you. Those who envy you cannot block what was destined for you. And those who abandon you cannot cancel what is carried within you. Sometimes the greatest threat to purpose is not the enemy outside, but the doubt inside. Fear will whisper that you are not enough. Failure will suggest that you are unworthy. Weariness will tempt you to give up altogether. Yet even in your weakest moment, purpose remains. It does not vanish because you doubt it, and it does not disappear because you question it. It waits patiently for you to rise again, for it knows it is inseparable from who you are. You cannot outrun it and you cannot lose it. You can only choose whether to embrace it or to delay it. The journey of the chosen is proof that purpose is indestructible. Think of the times when life tried to break you, when it looked as though everything was over, yet somehow you kept going. Think of the moments when you thought you were finished, yet doors opened that you never imagined. Think of the seasons when others walked away, yet new connections appeared at just the right time. All of these were reminders that purpose cannot be stolen. What is meant for you will always find its way to you. Even in the darkest valleys, purpose speaks. It whispers that your story is not over. It reminds you that every setback is temporary, that every obstacle is an invitation to grow, and that every delay still leads to destiny. Purpose cannot be stolen because it is not held by circumstances. It is not tied to who supports you or who leaves you. It is bound to the eternal design of your life, and nothing on earth or beneath it has the power to erase that. So walk boldly even when the path is uncertain. Stand firm even when opposition rises. Trust even when doors close. For your purpose is bigger than rejection, stronger than fear, and more enduring than loss. Let those who doubt you doubt, and let those who oppose you oppose, because none of them hold your destiny. None of them can steal what was written before time began. You are chosen, and chosen means marked. Marked for a path, marked for a mission, marked for a destiny that cannot be stolen, delayed though it may be, tested though it may feel, hidden though it may appear. Purpose will always prevail, because it is not yours to protect, it is yours to live. And as long as breath is in your body, that purpose will call you, pull you, and carry you into everything you were created to be. Long before the first battle ever began, long before the first trial ever appeared, long before the first tear ever fell, victory was already written into the story of the chosen. It is not something that must be begged for, nor something that must be earned. It is not dependent on the strength of your enemies or the size of your obstacles. It is not dictated by how dark the night becomes or how fierce the storm rages. Victory is not something that comes at the end of the journey. It is something that has been woven into the fabric of the chosen soul from the beginning. The path may be hard, but the outcome is secured. To understand that victory is already written is to walk with a quiet confidence, not arrogance, not pride, but a deep knowing that no matter how the story twists and turns, the ending has already been decided. It means you can face setbacks without surrendering, because you know they are temporary. It means you can endure rejection without despair, because you know it cannot cancel what has been promised. It means you can walk through valleys without fear, because you know valleys are not destinations, they are passages. The chosen do not fear the journey, because they know the conclusion is victory. This truth does not erase the pain of the battle. It does not remove the sting of betrayal or the weight of loss. It does not shield the chosen from struggle, but it gives them the strength to keep pressing forward. For every wound there is healing. For every night there is a dawn. For every storm there is a calm. And for every battle there is a victory already secured. What appears as defeat is often just a chapter, not the whole story. The chosen soul can rest in the assurance that the final chapter is already written, and it ends in triumph. The enemy will do everything in its power to convince you otherwise. It will whisper that you are losing, that you are forgotten, that you are unworthy. It will magnify your failures, replay your mistakes, and remind you of your weaknesses. Yet all of these are lies, distractions meant to cloud your vision. The truth is that victory does not depend on your perfection. It depends on your persistence. It depends on your willingness to keep standing, keep believing, and keep walking even when everything around you says stop. For the one who refuses to quit is the one who steps into the victory already written for them. Think of the times when you thought the end had come, when you believed the weight was too heavy, when you were certain the chapter was closed. Yet you kept going, and new doors opened. Think of the moments when you were surrounded by darkness, yet somehow light broke through. Those were not accidents. They were reminders that your story is not written by defeat. They were glimpses of the truth that victory is the conclusion of every chosen soul's journey. Victory is not always loud. Sometimes it is not the roar of conquering armies, but the quiet endurance of surviving another day. Sometimes it is not the crown placed on your head, but the strength to stand back up after falling. Sometimes it is not the applause of the crowd, but the silent peace of knowing you did not give up. Every small victory is evidence of the greater one already written. Each step forward, each breath taken, each time you rise again is a declaration that the story is still moving toward triumph. The beauty of a written victory is that it cannot be erased. Enemies cannot undo it. Circumstances cannot block it. Fear cannot cancel it. Delay cannot destroy it.